Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Criminally Stupid. We told you guys there was not going to be a lapse in content. Don't worry. We're still going to continue making fun of total fucking dopes on the internet. Today's going to be a special episode because Jackson and I thought it would be nice to wash the stink of pedophilia out of our ears just a little bit, because it does get a little depressing to just talk about these people who just want to molest children. So this week, we finally have a criminally stupid individual who's not a child molester, as far as I know.
Yeah. It's okay. So just on that topic real quick, it's sadly easy to find child molesters on the internet who are criminally stupid because they're all fucking idiots, right?
It's such abundance. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard. It's hard to really find comically stupid fucking idiots that aren't also deplorable child molesters. But yeah, I do agree with the common sentiment with the show that it is a bit weird that we just keep talking about pedophiles. I still firmly disagree with the implication that we're somehow pedophiles for making fun of pedophiles.
It's always the laziest accusation too. I know.
Yeah.
It's always the same thing.
I've never understood that.
Bro,
we clearly do not like pedophiles.
I'm sorry YouTubers just keep flirting with 14-year-olds, but it's just fun to make fun of. They're there. They keep doing it.
I don't understand. Joking about people is apparently an endorsement of it now to some people, or projection, we're projecting it.
I don't know. I feel like that's just a typical result of people. They just don't like you, so they want to call you a pedophile. I've been called every name in the book at this point on the internet. And it is just what happens. But it reminds me of that meme. You see that meme where it's like, oh, you're arachnophobic, huh? That means you want to fuck spiders. It's like, well, maybe not. Maybe I'm just skeeved out by spiders.
Scared of them.
Yeah, maybe I'm not obsessed with pedos. There's just so many of them, and their chat logs are goofy and they're fun.
Is the thought rationale behind the whole projection thing, just because I'm trying to understand it, because it really doesn't make much sense to me, is the understanding or the implication that because we're making fun of it, we are somehow trying to lessen the impact of it, maybe, and that's we're trying to make pedophilia better for people because we're laughing about it? I don't know. They're just fucking idiots.
Yeah, and then the same people telling us that will then go on YouTube and watch some dude use the words unalive and child corn when talking about the very same guy just because they're doing it with a pouty deadpan expression. Doesn't mean they're not milking it for fucking content. I laugh because it is just fucked up, and that's my sense of humor. It's just, I like laughing at stupid fucking people and their cringy chat messages.
Yeah, they're fucking idiots that are cringe. So, I mean, obviously we both want them to suffer at the, hand. I mean, fucking Kai has talked in detail about celebrating the dude that went around killing pedophiles a while back. I don't think he's pro-pedophilia.
The Alaskan Avenger. That guy's cool as shit. I was emailing back and forth with his sister for a while to possibly have him on the show, but I was getting scam
this was
vibes
years ago,
from her.
By the way.
Yeah, this was years ago at this point. But I don't know, because she wasn't even very close to him. It just felt like she was milking him for just attention's sake for herself.
Attention, yeah.
Yeah, so that never went anywhere. Sense. But yeah, I completely forgot about that guy. Cool dude. Anyway, would you like to take the intro and tell us about who it is that we're going to talk about today who is not a pedophile?
Yeah, well, as far as we know, as far as we know. Could turn out to be. Who knows, really? So this week, in this episode of Criminally Stupid, we're talking about someone by the name of Dylan Hafertepen. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Hafertepen?
Hafertepen? Yeah.
Hafertepen, maybe? Yeah. Anyway, it's some kind of interesting
This is our beauty
name.
right here. So when I said it's going to be a little not safe for work, for audio listeners, we're staring at a very big, beefy mountain of a man. Flexing in his living room in the teeniest, tiniest tank top you could have found that doesn't really cover anything. And I don't even know what the point is of wearing it. It kind of looks like a bib on him. And he is flexing in a Speedo. And the Speedo is filled to the brim with a gigantic elephant's ball and cock and ball pair.
It's diaper-esque to me. It looks like a filled diaper. It doesn't... it doesn't look like a normal set of testicles, let's say, but the balls are definitely enlarged. The entire body is enlarged. This man has been pumping.
Oh yeah, he
either
is
pumping.
major
He's natty.
steroid
He's
body.
natty. No, he's natty. That's natty.
He just eats his protein, and he is naked.
Yeah.
Otherwise, well, he has a very bright pair of shoes, and I don't know what you call them, like a tattoo on his thighs, like a full thigh tattoo.
Yeah, it's like kind of like Maui, like tribalistic
Yeah, that sort of
artwork. It
stuff.
looks like some kind of islander.
So
artwork.
now some of you are going to wonder, well, this is edited, right? Or is this a joke? Did he stuff a pillow in there? Tell him, Jackson. Tell him the truth.
Oh no! So Dylan Hafertepen is a person with body dysmorphia issues, clearly, that leads to him apparently wanting to be as big as humanly possible, and what that involves is pumping himself full of silicone and steroids, silicone directly into the nutsack, the ball sack, to fill those bad boys up as big as they can get. So it's not, when you think of like body dysmorphia issues, like I kind of understand the rationality of wanting to be not being happy with your body or whatever, so wanting to be as big as possible. You lose me at the ball inflating though. I don't understand that. I've never wanted my testicles to be bigger or more in the way. To me,
and
that's
cock
not
inflation
like
too.
anything
Both.
exciting.
So apparently they go.
Yeah.
All right, what? So Dylan Hafertepen, however you say it, runs a harem.
Big ball man.
He runs a harem for other big bald men. Well, they're not initially big bald, but he runs a harem for big, meaty, beefy, muscular, gym bro bear gays. That's what they're called, right? Bears. And one of the conditions to join his harem.
This is more than bear. Like bears are just big hairy dudes. This is like,
well, that's
his
recruitment ground though, and then he transforms them into what he calls pups, and they become pups in his little harem of I don't know, the Dylan pups, I guess. I forget what they call themselves besides pups, but they serve Master Dylan. And one of the conditions to be in this harem is that you must inject your balls with a saline solution of some sort, or like silicone, in order to inflate them. And you have to take steroids. Now, Dylan controls the supply of steroids, which is going to likely become relevant later, because if one of his pups steps out of line and does something he doesn't like, he cuts them off of the steroids. So you're going to start losing your natty gains, as they say in the gym among us gay bear gym bros. So he controls the supply and demand, just much like a very beefy gay Morton Joe with the water. And that's how he keeps lock and key on his minions.
Can we stay on that photo? It's who likes this? Like, even from a fetishistic angle, it looks like cartoonish proportions. It doesn't look cool. It doesn't look cool at all.
No, and this is one of those things, once in a while you see something that it just makes you think, who could possibly be into this? Like dragons fucking cars?
Yeah.
Or like dick nipples and hentai? You just think,
okay, so I kind of get that. I don't get it, but like I get that it's just a pure fantasy. Like you just look up art with it. This is actually like creating irreversible damage to your own body. At that point, it's like, you wouldn't actually want to be fucked by a giant dragon IRL, right?
Well, I think some people would, apparently.
Oh man, okay, maybe. I just don't get it.
And now, for demonstration, he also tattoos his pups. So we're currently looking at the backsides of a bunch of very beefy men with the tattoos, property of Master Dylan. And then again, property of Master Dylan. And then one of them got a tramp stamp that says Master Dylan. You see his big balls and a fucking G-string hanging like a fucking fleshy beehive between his legs.
Are these underwear? Is the underwear specifically made for this? Like, do you have to Google up enlarged testicle underwear G-string to find that particular
That's a good
brand?
point. I hadn't even thought about it. These must be like custom sewn, right?
Yeah, are the underwear like specifically made to cater for the increase in size of the testicles? Like, do they expand with the testicles, or how does it work? It looks like
the Hulk's pants.
Don't look too closely that you get too absorbed into the picture. But on the left there, that picture, for audio listeners, it's a picture of a man bent over, spread, from the backside, doggy style, and he's wearing a G-string, red G-string. His testicles are below in the underwear, very, very comically large. Yeah, look at the underwear there. It looks like it's a completely different component and fabric that's like sewn into the G-string. So I feel like they do some custom work.
Perhaps, maybe it's the lighting. I don't know. I didn't hyper-analyze it like that, but the chat is thanking me for zooming in. Somebody's saying I was about to eat.
Yeah. We are going to have to censor the absolute shit out of this for the YouTube. 100%. Stop moving around so much.
Can you do the thing where like the hentai thing where you add a teeny tiny black strip? Like, hey, we technically censored it.
I don't know how. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what will happen.
We'll see. We're going to have to walk around the rules here on this one. Anyway, I'll let you continue. Sorry.
Yep. So Dylan was known famously online in the online BDSM and polyamory communities, and he would become a staple piece of a niche master and pup harem, which is what you were talking about. With Dylan as the master, he would train and manipulate his muscle pups, in quotes, until they were willing to do whatever he wanted. I feel like this is... I don't want to lay too much blame, but I feel like this has to be born from like cartoons. It has to be a fetish born from cartoons, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would imagine.
I'm trying to think of a cartoon that had like a big, strong wolf character growing up. I feel like if you watch that at a developing age and you were sexually attracted, yeah, like a big. He's interested in pups and shit. I'm assuming it's like a big, strong wolf.
I think I think he's into bears. I mean, aren't bear babies called cub? Wait. Oh yeah, they're cubs, I guess.
No, he's calling them pups, isn't he? He's calling them pups. That's a pup. So yeah. Plus, it goes into the line with the furry community. Well, I guess bears are also in the furry community and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so yeah. While the list of misdeeds and foul acts that can be attributed to Dylan is long, the beginning of his cult and fetishistic control of his slaves apparently began as a case of body dysmorphia and self-loathing. Yeah, I get how... Can you stop? You're distracting me with all this fucking shit. All these pictures that you're showing me. I don't... Yeah. I get the body dysmorphia angle, wanting to be as big as possible, I guess, big and muscly as possible. But I just don't understand how that relates to testicles. I guess
to have
there's
them
some kind of
inflated.
sexual dysmorphia.
Yeah, again, I also don't get it. I have seen hentai where the women have tits as big as cars, and I really don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it's like an offshoot of inflation porn, where, the gimmick is they inflate each other like beach balls, essentially.
I just didn't understand. I knew that there'd be a few people out there with this kind of fetish, but I didn't understand that it was as popular as it is, like this kind of inflation kink. Can someone explain it to me, like why it's attractive? Well, you're the only person here really that can describe it to me, but maybe someone in the comments let us know why this fetish exists and what the deal is. Why people would want to inflate things like their testicles.
What the fuck is inflation porn, chat is asking? In case you don't know, inflation porn is where the person imagines themselves blowing up. If you've ever seen the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, there's a scene where, I forget her name, the little girl in the blue suit, she gets inflated. Yeah, Violet. And she gets inflated into a giant blueberry. And I bring that scene up specifically because it is quoted by many, many, many inflation fetishists as their epiphany moments where they realize that they're really into it.
Piece de resistance.
Yeah.
The holy grail.
A lot of them will openly tell you this, that they watched Charlie and the Chocolate Factory as a child, and they saw that little girl get blown up into a big blueberry, and they got hard-ons. And it became a lifelong fetish for them to just inflate stuff.
So I guess it makes sense if you see something like that during like a development period in your psyche where you're starting to get erections and shit like that, starting to explore your sexuality or something, and something like that happens, and you begin to hyper focus on that during the development stage. I guess that could explain it.
I would imagine so, yeah.
I get someone in chat said it's hard to explain why unless you have the fetish. So yeah. I guess that's the same with all fetishes. So his particular case of body dysmorphia revolved around the idea of attempting to get as absolutely swole and big as possible, like a bodybuilder, but even more cartoonish, really. In this clip, do you want to open the clip? In this clip from an interview with ABC in 2016, Dylan describes his alleged former body dysmorphia in the below quote. Keep in mind, this is in relation to the fact that he had gotten so big at the time that he was put in the hospital due to blood pressure and heart-related issues. In fact, his heart needed to be shocked back to normal due to his blood pressure issues stemming from all the injections and stuff. So he's putting his body on the line.
His infatuation with getting huge ultimately landed him in the hospital. He had gotten so big, his blood pressure was so high, he had to have his heart shocked back to normal.
I had negotiated with myself that,
this is early stages.
It would have been okay to
He looks way smaller
succumb to death at an early age by pushing myself beyond what my body was capable of.
The story concludes with your typical bullshit fairy tale ending, with Dylan claiming that
so
after
happy.
3 years of therapy, he's now happy with the way he looks. While on its face, or rather,
All right,
on
pause
its
it.
balls.
Wait.
That statement seems
I just love this, like, in every photo, even though this is a very goofy-ass lifestyle to me, in every photo, they genuinely seem like wholesomely happy. Him and his pups in every photo, they just seem happy and content. But it's gonna get dark.
It's just a bunch of bros on the couch, cuddling up, chilling with their big, fearsome, fearless master standing at the helm.
You're looking
Is
like
that
a big fat
surfboard in the
babe.
background as well?
Yes, it is. I don't know what surfboard could possibly sustain these men's weights, but yeah.
I want to see all four of them on it surfing.
Cuddling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With their big testicles swaying in the wind. Okay, so Dylan makes the claim that over the course of 3 years, beginning in 2013, so we're going back quite a while, he would conquer his body dysmorphia and become a more healthy individual, no longer obsessed with being as physically large as possible. However, in the same year of 2013, when he began his therapy, he also took the first dive in forming his muscle pup harem. Dylan was also known as Ekigyu and Gogeta on DeviantArt and Fur Affinity, and he would become the creator, developer, and administrator of the furry art website known as Furry Art Pile in 2008, which would later rebrand to Art Piles in 2010.
Oh, he's a furry too.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're called pups and shit. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course he's a furry.
Do you think they would also have to have like custom fursuits? Because how are you going to fit that bulge into a normal one, right? Unless, I guess you could like cut a hole into it.
I would wager a guess that inflation as a kink and ball enlargement and enlargement of the body and stuff like that is like a fetish that is predominantly in the furry community. I feel like that is a very furry community thing. No kind of research done into that.
Generally, these sort of paraphilias, they come in clusters. Like nobody is just into inflation, right? Usually when you have a furry who's into inflation sort of stuff, it's gonna be very rare the case that he says, no, I'm just into putting silicone in my balls, but nothing else. I don't want any part of that other stuff. They're usually
I
very
have nothing to back this up. I have nothing to back this belief up other than like I've seen furries on Twitter and stuff that like post hentai pictures frequently of like things like vor and this kind of enlargement of the body artwork, whatever it's called. So I've seen a lot of them do that.
Mega
and it seems like
vor, inflation, dronification. Bro, we could make a whole episode of just the fucking kinks that I find out about just from following lolcows on like Twitter that I never thought were a thing.
What the fuck is dronification?
Dronification is when it's a kink where you basically let go of your humanity and you become a worker drone for the master, queen bee. And they like to wear these fucking helmets that like have all the cyberpunk like inserts and such to wear like the face is an LCD screen. And they wear all leather, super tight leather, and they become drones in the hive mind, essentially. That's the kink.
So it's another like subset, more extreme version of like a subdom relationship, but with bees.
It doesn't always have to be subdom. Like you don't, if you're becoming a drone, you don't always need to have a master. But yes, they usually do like.
Wait, how can you be a drone but not with a master?
Well, the central point, usually they do have a master. I'm just saying the central point of the kink isn't that you're somebody's slave. The central point is more so that you're becoming a literal fucking robot. And actually, there's a fucking fetish cult they have a Discord where you need to pledge loyalty to the Queen drone. And we can do a whole episode on those guys too, actually, now that I think about it. And like the person will send you drone goggles and you have to wear them to be part of the drone hive. I forget
Wait,
what
you
the
get
fuck the
free
name
drone
is.
goggles?
Yeah.
I might
and
do that just for the goggles.
It is considered an extreme privilege, by the way, to be chosen into the drone hive and receive your cyberpunk drone goggles.
There's like a recruitment process.
Oh, yeah.
You don't just get it.
Oh no, none of these fetish communities ever or cults, they never just let anybody in, Jackson. Come on. You gotta
what is the
earn
difference?
it.
What is the difference between these fetish communities and a cult? To me, they're kind of becoming one and the same, as we'll see in this story.
Yeah, not much. I mean, then again, what is the difference between a cult and just a fetish community? You know, usually cults are... Isn't almost every cult just, hey, by the way, God told me I need to have sex with your wife. So, you know, this is either happening or you're out of the cult.
God is so chill like that, just trying to get me laid.
All right, let's continue. Where were we?
So Dylan, as a twisted form of healing and control over his body dysmorphia issues, placed his issues onto the bodies, literally, of others, and would use his online fame in the furry art community to manipulate fans. Remember, because he had this successful furry art website that he developed himself. So he was like a software developer or whatever. He made this website for furries to post their artwork to and stuff, and it became popular as an alternative to like deviant art at the time. So pretty popular within those niche communities, and he, attracted an audience due to that. These were primarily men who were at a low point in their lives, suffering from the same kind of things that Dylan knew of and experienced himself, so he was in a prime position to take advantage of it. And what exactly did he want? Again, he was hyper-focused on creating the perfect male body, his ideal form. And these men that would come into his life and join his harem, they would be the perfect canvases to, put this onto, to sculpt, to create the largest testicles that have ever existed. Dylan had various rituals the pups in his harem must go through to appease their master, such as wearing a lock and a chain around their neck for which only he had the key, getting a tattoo stating property of Master Dylan on their lower back, which we've already seen, and even signing a legally binding contract to Dylan, because what else speaks to love more than a contract? This contract required his pups to become his. At Dylan's discretion, they must submit to body modifications, surrender their salary to him, legally change their name, and cut off contact with anyone outside the harem. Well, so again, that's like literally cult stuff. That's like 1-to-1 with what a cult would do. In fact,
absolutely.
That's exactly what cults do.
And people agree to this. Like, yes, here, you can have my income. Honestly, why do I even bother with this show, being nice to people? Everybody in this chat should be pledging their incomes to me right now, all of it. $5 isn't enough.
Well, they do kind of. Oh, yeah.
Not enough.
We're
I want all
generous
of it.
like that. No, I'm more than content with the $5 our patrons give us. So thank you for that. Kai is unhinged and going off the deep end with this kind of cult fetishistic lifestyle that he's leading into. What are you looking at right now? The drone? Is that a drone?
Yes, I wanted to show everybody what dronification looks like, and it's similar to this, where they wear these LED lights on their
That
faces.
looks sick.
Yeah, Jackson.
Well, apart from
expect?
No, I meant like sick as in awesome. Everything from the neck down doesn't though. What's happening down there? I don't like that.
I mean, I forget what this other kink is called, where they restrain themselves, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the point is that dronification is you wear these goofy ass masks, and this is it. You're a wriggly worm. Try to sing Jesus.
Wait, can you pause it and scroll up? I want to actually read the tweet out. Okay, so this is a quote.
Okay, go ahead.
The second dronification session, a full gas mask, blindfold, a very large gag, and shoved back into the latex sleep sack for another 5+ hours. By this point, it's just a squirming, needy, obedient object, a drone waiting to obey commands. Obedience is pleasure after all. Oh, Jesus. All right, enough of that. Let's get out of this.
For audio listeners, by the way, we haven't described it, but it's a man in a big latex... I don't even know what you would call this. Just a
it's a sleep sack.
I guess.
It says it right there. Yeah, that's the best.
And he's
that's
restrained, and
it's
he's
like
wriggling around like a little maggot. And he has an LED light, headphones, and like cat ears, and a gas mask.
Yeah, it's like
been modified.
It's like a gamer helmet.
By the way, 5 hours like this, I would genuinely fucking cry. you could not possibly
Torture.
traumatize me more. If you had a claustrophobia, oh my God, this is horrific. Anyway, let's continue.
Yeah, it's not doing anything for me. So I guess I'm not part of the dronification fetish club. I'll find my club eventually, guys. But right now, it's not any of these ones. Getting fit is the #1 way to prevent yourself from getting criminally stupid, and FitBod makes it as easy as possible to stay in shape. I love partnering with FitBod personally because they make it as easy as possible for new beginners to get into, working out and staying fit. That means people that are too nervous, confused, embarrassed, shy, all those words, bashful. It makes it as easy as possible for them to get into something that is just a net positive to you, regardless of how hard you work out or what activities you're doing or what goal you have. Just moving around and working out every couple of days is just the best way to feel good about yourself. So it's a net positive across the board. And how FitBod helps is that it's a fitness app that takes all of your available workout equipment, all of your goals, and what it does, it takes all of that information and it builds a comprehensive workout plan suited for your needs and your goals. I myself have been using FitBod for a while now to track my own progress in cardio. That's my current goal. I'm trying to just get better at cardio so that I'm not so out of breath all the time whenever I'm, out and about traveling. I just sit at a computer desk for too much. So cardio is very important to me to make sure that I'm, able to survive in the outside world currently. And with FitBod and their useful analytical tools, as well as their customizable workouts, it's made it so easy to keep track of everything, which is great. It takes a load off your back, right? You can just focus on not having to worry about all these extraneous details. You can just look at the app, see what you need to do it, and feel good knowing that you're making progress towards your goal. And with over 1,000 demonstration videos, you can rest easy knowing that you won't hurt yourself in the process, because you can just look up a video on the app on how to do that particular exercise that the app is asking you to do in a safe way, in the correct form. So add FitBod to your workout essentials right now. Join FitBod today to get your personalized workout plan, get 25% off your subscription, or try the app free at fitbod.me/criminally-stupid. That's fitbod.me/criminally-stupid. Thank you to FitBod for supporting the show. They've really taken a leap of faith with us over at Criminally Stupid, and it really would mean a lot to us if you guys went and checked them out and thanked them for the support, because I was never expecting anyone to sponsor the show. So big thank you to FitBod, and thank you for listening to the sponsor slot. Check them out in the description below if you feel like working out. And now back to the show. So while the entire contract was posted online, it is rather long, and as such, highlights are below that we're going to read from right now. Do you want to read it?
Okie dokie. It begins.
So this is the contract that he made them all sign, everyone in his harem.
He writes in his contract, the following is a list of rules Pup has in his relationship with his master. The list is by no means complete and will be added to over time. Semicolon, not semicolon, colon. The golden rule: all orders are to be carried out quickly, fully, and without protest. A pup is to fulfill all of his duties in a mindset of duty, loyalty, love, and obedience towards master. Mind. A pup's mind is the exclusive property of master at all times. As such, virtue will be a significant part of the relationship shared between a pup and his master. Fundamental to the act of slavery is the practice of the virtues of trust, honesty, openness, loyalty, and obedience. Somebody's asking, so are these guys just openly gay? What was the giveaway?
Yeah, what do you mean? No, they're in the closet. They're as straight as possible. This is just what dudes do.
You got him, detective.
Criminally stupid is just gay people. This isn't just gay people. This is people inflating their balls to comically large sizes and killing each other in the process.
Spoiler alert. Hold on.
This isn't representative of the gay community or anything.
The contract continues. Without the practice of these virtues, there can be no true slavery. Their practice, therefore, is expected and required at all times. A master is only interested in his pup's complete, enduring, and total loyalty. Reserved and conditional loyalty, or loyalty when it is convenient, is worthless. A pup is to stand by his master through all obstacles. If a pup feels he is not capable of giving this, he should resign his position. As a symbol of his lifelong loyalty, a pup may be blessed with a brand above his rump when he has proven himself capable and worthy. This brand will be in 2 parts. The first will be the shield motif with the text reading property of master, which we saw.
Yeah, let's go back to one of these fucking pictures.
Hold on.
One of these awful pictures.
Yep, sorry, I guess
calling someone a pup is yuck as fuck. I agree. Yeah.
It is yuck as fuck, and the shield kind of looks like a police logo of some sort. Anyway, it says Master Dylan, so that's the tramp stamp
property
we
of
saw
Master
earlier.
Dylan, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He may be blessed with a brand above his rump when he has proved himself to be capable and worthy. Oh, wait, so that means this guy is actually above the rump, like above the rest of them. They're just property, but he's been chosen as like a worthy.
He's the head
pup.
sheriff in town.
Yeah, he's like the alpha
That's
pup.
why it's a
Okay.
police badge. He's the officer on the scene.
This brand will be in 2 parts. The first will be the shield motif with the text reading property of master. The second part, when the pup has earned the privilege of revealing his master's identity, will read the master's first name. The privilege of revealing his first name.
If you don't feel like you can give enough loyalty, like unending loyalty from the sounds of it, no questions asked kind of loyalty. If you can't give that, you have to resign your position. What's the process look like for that? Where you resign? Do you have to give like a statement? Do you have to do
2
a
weeks
press
notice?
Release? Like, yeah, 2 weeks notice. You're gonna stay loyal for those 2 weeks. Like this is a contract.
Yeah, but doesn't it defeat the purpose if they have the option of quitting anytime? That's not how slavery works, right? That means they're not really your property if they can quit at any time. You should edit in a loophole there that it needs to be some sort of a like divorce procedure where the pup owes you half of his shit if you ever leave.
We got to remember they're operating in a legal framework of, civilized society. So there's only so much they can do.
I mean, is this legally binding?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think this contract could be taken to like a, what are they called? A notarizer?
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a good question.
Do you have to, a notary? That's it. Do you have to like have a witness watch you both sign it at the same time, and they have to be called into court to testify to it? Like, how does this work?
I have no idea.
I have a gut feeling that it's not legally enforceable.
I feel like it is. Well, the thing is, I don't feel like there's anything in this that would fly in the face directly of any laws, except maybe the slavery parts. I mean, I don't think you can, even with consent from both parties, I don't think you can have the literal word, "You are going to be my slave," and
yeah,
practicing slavery.
Yeah, I don't think you can sign away your free will. I don't think that's a possibility.
Yeah, I don't know. Unless they also have like clauses that say we're all LARPing and this is basically just a job position. I don't know. Very interesting, though. I would imagine that you could possibly find a lawyer to try to enforce this, but also if you're one of the pups, I'm sure you would have an easy time finding a lawyer to say, hey, the defendant is criminally stupid and this is not enforceable. He was not in the right sense of mind. He was horny.
Yeah, plus when you think about it, if this is all just like fetishistic, sexual satisfaction for the people involved, then actually going through the process of enforcing it probably would, disrupt the illusion, right? And the fantasy of it, because then you're actually, like, they're not willingly a part of it. They're not willingly a slave or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So it might break it that way. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this is...
I don't know.
It's not that different, though, if you think about it from, like, content creators who molest women and then they make them sign an NDA saying you may never talk about it. Yeah, that's kind of like it. That actually reminds me, I have it here on my desk. I made my wife sign a non-disclosure agreement for my secret chili formula so that she may never share my secret ingredients with anybody in life without my written permission. It seems rather quaint in comparison.
I don't know. That was very fucking scary where you were going with that, bringing up that you made your wife sign an NDA while we're talking about this. I was like, Jesus Christ, where is this going? Why are you bringing it up right now in relation to what we just talked about?
No, hold on. Can I show this at all?
Well, why would you
Wait,
show
what
it?
the fuck?
You can't.
I can open my cam and to stream? Well, no. hold on, I can hide her name, but I'm not joking. This is a real NDA that I printed out. And it says non-disclosure agreement for Wormlord's secret chili formula. Whereas the Wormlord is the sole creator and guardian of the infamous chili formula, herein referred to as the secret formula, a culinary masterpiece that has tantalized taste buds far and wide, known for its mouth-watering aroma and clandestine blend of spices and balancing sweetness.
So you're okay. I see your whole fetish is role playing as like fucking Mr. Krabs or something. You're in a completely different sexual like.
That's not sexual.
Scenario.
Everybody likes my fucking chili, and I have to guard it. Okay.
It's sexual if you're making your wife sign an NDA to guard the secrets. It sounds like
I
you're getting
live
some
with
kind
her.
of joy out
She
of
sees
it.
what I put in it. She has to sign it and promise not to tell anybody.
Isn't that covered by like marriage clauses though? I don't know.
Look, I'm just autistic and I like teasing my wife. That's it.
Cute.
I'll continue. A pup will profess his love, his loyalty, and his devotion to his master at all opportunities he can. As a pup progresses deeper into his subspace, a pup may find his ability to create words and coherent sentences is diminished. Whimpering and grunting are usually considered adequate substitutions. This is also one of the parts of a like slave-master relationship is a mind melting,
mind breaking,
mind breaking. Where, hey, you're gonna be such a fucking mindless drone. You're just gonna be able to bark at me once I'm done with you. When a pup is in subspace,
all these like doms and shit always talk a big talk, and they're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be such an incredible like mind breaking experience where you won't even be able to talk afterwards. And I doubt it's usually that case.
No, I mean usually, again with the dronification specifically, they do kind of become stupid because they inject themselves with all sorts of substances like hormones and steroids and just estrogen and drugs and like fentanyl, and they genuinely do become fucking idiots. So sometimes it does work. Anyway, when a pup is in subspace, he's not to look directly at his master's face. A pup has not earned that privilege, and a pup is not worthy of looking upon the perfection of his master's face. So just a reminder, this is the face you're not allowed to look at. You have to avert your eyes.
He looks like so... cute's not the right word, but it's not like your hyper masculine face. Like
I know
he
that's
does
the
have
thing
a giant
about
beard.
all these guys is that's why I said they kind of look like
cheeks and stuff.
wholesome. You know, it just looks like a big cuddly guy, and yet under the surface there's this creepo.
And this isn't kink shaming, by the way. Even though I would argue that like injecting stuff into your balls should be kink shamed. Personally, that's like my line of where I'm like, yeah, this should be kink shamed. You're putting stuff bad substances directly in your balls. But in this situation, this case, I want to remind people that this isn't necessarily kink shaming because they are criminal. This person is criminally stupid, and what they would go on to do, which we'll talk about soon, it's fine to make fun of, in my opinion, because he does do some fucking deplorable shit.
My hot take is that I'm allowed to kink shame. Fuck you. This is funny. Additionally, a pup may never feel worthy of the attention or love that he receives from his master. A pup can always improve himself and do better for his master, by which he means just taking more steroids and lifting more. Master's affection is a gift that is given, not a right that is earned. Master's word is law and must be trusted and obeyed. In an ideal mindset/subspace, Master's word should overwrite a pup's internal reality and be accepted as absolute truth. A pup may request politely and subserviently for privileges and actions to be taken by his master, but a pup may never demand, force, or otherwise coerce either of these from his master.
You know what's interesting, right? So I like the whole like normal dom/sub kind of shit. I think that's kind of fun, especially it's like an exciting twist to sex and stuff. But like this element of it, this like whole contract and like saying stuff like a pup's internal subspace and mindset must be like shifted to the absolute truth of the master's word and all that kind of stuff. All this looks like to me is like the master is very insecure and scared of losing control and stuff, which isn't something that you would want from a master, right? You would want someone confident enough. This is just pathetic.
This is the inherent contradiction of demanding respect from people. If you have to demand it, then you are already a person that cannot be respected. It's like saying, I am the king. A king doesn't have to say that, right? So like, I demand that you respect me and follow my orders. Well, a demand in and of itself, inherently a demand is an act of desperation. Like, you don't command respect. You don't get it naturally, so you have to demand what fucking contract? Yeah, of course. It looks very, very
pathetic.
Fragile and pathetic, yeah.
Yeah, the fun kind of sub/dom dynamic is just like, kind of, it's not so much this like contract shit. It's just, it's more implicit.
But a pup may never demand for... Okay, I read that. A pup may not ask for or demand any sort of physical attention or recognition. This is a privilege on master... This is a privilege only master can bestow at his own discretion. When a pup craves physical attention, he may present himself in groveling posture and whimper for his master. But is to understand this does not automatically mean master will give his attention. Fucking proofread this, you dumb bitch. You made a whole contract and you can't be bothered to like fix the spelling errors and shit.
Yeah, I don't think this passed through any kind of like lawyer's office, probably.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess neither did my contract, but I can still spell. A pup is not to hold any romantic or submissive feelings towards anyone besides his master or others in whom master has given explicit permission, for example, other pups under master's service, or platonic feelings towards master's friends and family members. It is expected that a pup's loyalty to his master stands above all existing relationships and commitments.
Scary. That's isolationism.
Yeah, this, veering into cult stuff, the isolating people from their families, isolating people from everybody else they may love. No, you may only love me, and only if I allow you may you care about anybody else in life. A pup has no sense of value or identity outside of that which is given to him by his master. When a pup does wrong or finds fault in himself, he is to internalize his faults, his flaws.
Yeah, don't bother master with that shit. he's too busy for that. He's got a whole harem to run. He doesn't want to deal with your fucking problems.
Yeah, bottle it up, stew on it.
Yeah.
Internalize his flaws, dwell upon them, and then take all corrective actions he can to improve himself for his master. Again, this is not the alpha male thing to do, by the way. Is saying, oh yeah, you're on your own if you're flawed. Like, isn't it your job to tell them how to be, like how to fix themselves?
Yeah, that's what a good
shit?
Master would do.
Yeah.
A good master would help.
A benevolent, guiding, fatherly hand, but no, he's just like, don't bother me. I don't want to hear about your stupid fucking drama.
All this fucking master sounds like is an insecure, lazy, selfish,
lazy
pig.
bitch. Yeah, just you may worship me, but nothing else. Thank you. Fuck you.
What do I get from this?
A pup is to be completely emotionally dependent upon his master. Master has the power to lift his pup's spirits to extreme highs, as well as bring them down as required. Short times away from one's master will make a pup feel uncomfortable. Long periods away are enough to cause extreme mental distress. This is just fanfic now that he's writing about himself.
Yeah, he's literally just jerking off to this. I'll take body.
Okay.
I'll take body. Okay, so this next chapter in the contract is called body. A pup's body is the exclusive property of his master. As such, the body must be treated as a precious item. A pup is never to put himself into situations which may put him into... Well, first of all, this is fucking hilarious considering these guys inject saline and steroids directly into their testicles.
Yeah.
What do you mean the body must be treated as a precious item? Ugh.
To be molded by chemicals.
Yeah. A pup is never to put himself into situations which may put him into harm's way. Additionally, pup has a responsibility to maintain a quality diet and to exercise very regularly. Master has explicit body goals for his pup regarding their weight, their muscle mass, their measurements, and their proportions. The pup will make all efforts possible to ensure these goals are realized and should never feel satisfied until his master is satisfied. There is always additional room for a pup to push their physical limits. So when people hear the word master, I'm assuming all of you probably go straight to like a slave dynamic, but I am so Star Wars brained. All I think is like the Jedi religion. So I'm imagining like a Jedi master showing up. I know it's fucked. It's what decades of Star Wars has done to my brain. Additionally, a pup will submit to all orders for body modifications, including piercings, tattoos, scrotal saline inflation. Just throw that in there. As well as body growth supplements,
Casually.
including steroids and HGH, in accordance to the wishes of the master. What's HGH?
Human growth
Human
hormone.
growth hormones. Yeah.
That's the stuff that Sylvester Stallone takes, and it over time has mutated him into a gigantic troll.
Okay. All right. You take presentation. The presentation chapter.
All right. Presentation. A pup is to at all times wear the uniform that his master prescribes of him. Around the house, this is usually a jockstrap.
What a work uniform.
That should be one of our conditions for the new season of the official podcast. Jockstraps only.
Show up in a jockstrap or don't show up at all.
A pup is to always have his collar in plain view outside of his clothes and wear it with pride. To obscure one's collar at any time is a betrayal of one's role as a pup. It is expected that the pup maintains specific standards of appearance at all times. Pup is to keep his hair neat and a short, tight haircut. He is not to cut, trim, pluck, or otherwise modify any facial hair, e.g. eyebrows, lashes, beard. The removal or trimming of any other body hair is at the discretion of one's master. A pup may never, under any circumstances, wear deodorants. That's right.
Ew.
We want nice, stinky male musk, armpit stink.
That's taking it to a whole new level for me. I didn't think stink was involved in this. That's gross. That is so fucked. That's even worse than the testicle shit.
Like, whenever you talk about furries, musk is a big kink. Musk kinks. And like,
Oh, of course, because they're animalistic. They're dogs. They like smells and stuff.
yeah, I mean, it usually comes out in the form of just a furry talking about how he hasn't showered in like 2 weeks, and then, oh, my mistress loves this so much. How my armpits stink.
Those conferences must smell fucking awful, man. Those furry cons.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, just because of the pooped-full diapers. A pup is the most valuable possession a master can have. A pup is the Wait. I thought they were all worthless. Anyway, a pup has to recognize this privilege and present himself accordingly to his master and to the public.
Wait, what? So he's like, you're the most valuable possession a master can have, so I want you to present yourself in public as, as well as you
bitch.
can, as highly. Yeah, but then you're like, don't wear deodorant, though. Which one is it? You want them to stink up the fucking public, or you want them to impress the public? Which one is it?
Well, I think he just wants them to wear the collar in public.
Oh, right. Yeah. They definitely do.
Okay,
All
sexuality.
right, I'll take the next chapter, sexuality.
Go ahead.
A pup's sexuality is the exclusive property of his master. As such, a pup is to remain exclusively sexually chaste to his master unless his master grants specific exemptions. A pup is sexually available to his master at all times. A pup may only experience sexual pleasure through his master. The more sexually pent up the pup is, I hate saying the word pup so much. The more sexually pent up the pup is, the more he is to crave and desire his master and use it to drive him further into his subspace. A pup must never sexually touch himself sexually. A pup must never sexually touch himself sexually or masturbate without his master's explicit permission. To come without permission from one's master is a betrayal of the highest order. It goes all the way to the top. That kind of action.
A betrayal. You may not coom without me, pup.
You are a traitor and a scum if you do that, if you come without permission.
All right. At home, a pup is not to rest until all of his duties have been performed to a standard both satisfactory to the master and the pup. It is expected that all household chores are to be performed by the pup promptly and effectively. When all duties are satisfactorily performed, a pup may then rest at the feet of his master. Great.
Aww,
What a reward.
That's so cute. So cute, guys. They just curl up at the end of the bed.
God, he actually wants to treat them like literal fucking dogs.
I hope not. I hope this isn't how he treats dogs.
Ugh, oh God, I don't want to think about that. He is a furry. Oh no. Whether the master is present or not, a pup is to perform his morning ritual. When master is present, he is to grovel before his master and give his thanks to his master every day, bringing himself to a submissive flurry of emotion. When master is not present, it is expected that a pup do the same before photographs of his master.
Like it's fucking Kim Jong-un.
I know.
Bow to the photo of master.
Bow. Do you want to take the next one?
All right. Yep, a pup's social identity belongs to his master. As such, a pup will identify as any name that his master bestows upon him. If the name sticks, the pup will be encouraged to change the name legally. This decision will not be made. A pup's social world is his master. Over the duration of his services, it is expected that the social connections outside of one's master fall away until the pup is completely socially and emotionally dependent upon his master, finding contact with other people pointless, unfruitful, and unfulfilling. With due training, a pup will have difficulty engaging with people socially without introduction from one's master, viewing most relationships as instrumentally as a means to an end. A pup is to be contactable by his master at all times. Master will give his pup a cell phone. Saved onto it will be only the master's telephone number and important work contacts. Anybody who wishes to contact pup must go through his master first. Master, this is ironic. Master has a right to privacy. Any unwelcome invasion to master's privacy will be severely punished. As a pup, you waive any expectations of privacy from your master. Christ, this is so mentally ill.
I know. So just to give you an idea, by the way, every pony, this is what it looks like when you're being worshipped in the morning by your pups. And for audio listeners, it's three dudes in jock straps and a G-string. And they have very hairy buttholes. And they're all kneeling at the feet of Dylan the master pup. And they're naked for everything except the jock strap. And they're kneeling and they're worshipping him. Which is very, very kawaii.
It's a lovely scene of camaraderie, bromanship, and love, I guess. I wish I did see this. Photos. I know that room fucking stinks too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, all of the photos from this are so fucking hysterical because it just looks like a bunch of. So for like audio listeners, imagine the dwarfs from Lord of the Rings, but if they were like really gay, because a lot of them actually look like the dwarfs with the big bushy beard included. It's almost cute if it wasn't so fucked up.
Yeah, you know, if I could get it. Not get it, but I could be down with it in like them doing their own thing if it didn't come down to the ball stuff and like the steroid use and the like slave contract kind of isolationism aspect of it.
Not to mention the thing that we're about to bring up, and here is one of them twerking.
Stop! I don't. That's too far. I don't want to see that.
Okay,
you're
sorry.
a sick man, Kaya.
Okay, where are we at? Finances?
yeah. Let's talk finances after that. Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right.
How's your 401k, Kaya?
A pup is to relinquish his salary to his master, who will ensure the money is securely saved. Securely saved on my account. Thank you, by the way, for the check. Every week/fortnight, a pup will get an allowance loaded onto a prepaid card. This allowance will be both based upon the pup's performance and anticipated needs in the coming weeks. Master has the right to view his pup's transaction history at any time.
Makes sense.
Yeah, of course. You gotta own these people by the balls.
You gotta keep a track of the finances, especially when you're running a full, harem of pups. Shit gets expensive. I'm sure you gotta buy, dog food and stuff like that.
Diapers, collars, G-strings.
G-strings.
Yeah.
So that was a look into the contract. Obviously, a pretty direct ownership thing. Pretty deplorable. Gross. Where Dylan's manipulations would come to a head was through his Stop it.
Sorry, I found this photo of him doing the dress go spinny thing, and it is a very beefy man in a kilt, and it's a very adorable photo. Again, if he wasn't such a gigantic creep, this is almost endearing.
Yeah, it would be almost endearing. Like they look like they're happy and having fun, but then there's like this deep, insidious side to it that we're going to get into. So where Dylan's manipulation would come to a head was through his obsession with getting ever larger, specifically the inflation of his balls and those of his pups through the injection of silicone. This is obviously, I mean, it should go without saying, an inherently dangerous practice that has proven to cause a host of issues in the body across a multitude of cases, which is where we come to the first situation that created a bit of a headache for Dylan and the pups, which was the first death of Peter Dovak. Peter Dovak, known online as Get Bigger, was claimed to be a friend of Dylan's and also another somewhat known figure in the same online circles. The two had previously met online and bonded over discussing DeviantArt and, of course, physically growing larger. Dovak, like Dylan, suffered from having, horrific body dysmorphia, and reportedly he had an extremely active metabolism that prevented him from gaining weight easily. Due to this, he would eventually begin to use steroids and develop a fetish for becoming morbidly obese. So it's not getting big and strong. It's just putting as much mass on you as possible, just getting fat. That's a fetish too.
What? Do you not know what a feeder is? Or feeder gainer fetish is? It's one of rather mainstream fetish, all things considered.
Well, I thought the feeder stuff was more like the actual act of eating and food that was enjoyable to them. Whereas this
that's
is like
too, but it's also getting big. Like
weight.
I remember everybody thinks I did this to myself, this fucking degenerate brain that I have, aware of everything bad on the internet. But I remember being like 12 years old and looking at German TV, and one of the news stations had a bit about feeders. And I saw a skinny man with his morbidly obese wife, where he was putting a funnel down her throat and pouring molten butter down it just to fatten her up. In case you are one of the like 7 people on the internet who don't know what a feeder gainer fetish is at this point.
Yeah, it's just I get it if it's like a food addiction, like you really like food, that makes sense to me, like, or you like the act of feeding someone or being fed, like that kind of relationship aspect. I could understand that. It's just like getting actually like the fetish being as obese as possible. That's weird. I mean, it's all weird. Dovak presented himself as exactly the kind of person Dylan would target, though was not actually part of the harem, as he already had a husband. A husband who claims that Dovak actually ended up hating Dylan and would only turn to him as he reached a point in his life where he wanted to commit to getting bigger through silicone injections. And Dylan was just the man for the job with his connections. So this Dylan guy, this Dylan Hafertepen, he had all the connections available to get these silicone injections. And Peter Dovak was someone who wanted those silicone injections to get even bigger. Unfortunately, the man he would lead him to, a man by the name of Joe Quader, was rather unskilled, let's say, and yet more than willing to engage in these extremely dangerous practices. Over the course of 3 separate injections, he would have 1 liter of silicone injected into his scrotum and penis.
So much.
That is a lot of silicone.
Yeah, for American listeners, that's like the average size of like just a carton of milk. Like not the gallon jugs, but the smaller ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. That's a lot of
that is a lot of fluid
to be putting into your body, especially one that's actually like poisonous. And directly into your scrotum and penis.
That's for 35 fluid ounces, by the way, for our American listeners.
And this isn't like you're injecting just like water or whatever into you, which is also, if you're doing it by like 1 liter, that's also bad. But this is like silicone. This is full of like plastics and stuff like that. It's bad, pretty bad for you.
Yeah, you don't want that in your balls.
So, yeah, definitely not. It was, however, a faulty 4th injection job done by Quader, where he hit a vein and injected the silicone directly into the bloodstream. Yep, which led to Dovak's death on the 16th of November 2017 due to an embolism caused by the silicone. Upon hearing this, Dylan would post that he would no longer be offering advice on silicone injections. he lost his license to teach. This is claimed by Dovak's surviving husband to be an attempt at becoming non-liable, and therefore he has since attempted to make it as public as possible that Dylan was the one who encouraged this. Which makes sense, as we'll see.
Shifting blame around.
There's a repeated history of this.
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to read this tweet?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, this is on Git's actual account on Twitter, but it is, since he died, it is his partner, his boyfriend, husband, posting on it. This is Git's partner Rob, also known as Ari and Gurak. Git passed away last night from lung failure brought about by complications from silicone injection. My life is an empty void without him. I am on Telegram at Dr. Awkward, whatever. For any support and well wishes, thank you. So quick announcement. No big fuss about it, but the man died of having, silicone in his veins, which that has to be such a painful way to go, I would imagine, right?
I mean, it's probably like the same as a heart attack, right? An embolism in your veins. It probably causes a heart attack, I would assume.
Yeah.
Because it stops the blood flow.
Technically, I don't really know what an embolism is, but I would imagine just having like goopy sludge in your blood is bad.
Yeah, it's a block in the veins, I'm pretty sure, like a big clump that blocks the veins from transporting blood, which probably like drops the blood pressure, which I would assume causes a heart attack, right?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot imagine ever wanting a needle near your balls. That sounds like the worst.
No, imagine fucking, oh man.
Idea.
Yeah.
Even if you told me, hey, Kaya, this is immortality juice and it's going to give you 100 extra years of life. No. Either you use my arm or fuck off. You're not putting it in my balls.
This thing will save your life and also like add years to your life. It has to go directly in your nutsack though.
No. I'll live my life as a average ball sack man. Thank you.
Yeah. So wait, okay, hypothetically. Immortality, like genuine immortality. You will never die again, but you have to get an injection into you. It doesn't have to be in your balls. But your balls will swell to the size of these comically large testicles shown by the men.
Am I allowed to drain them after, or do I have to live with it?
No, because if you drain them, then
so my immortality is stored in the balls.
Yeah, immortality is stored in the balls.
I guess, yeah. I mean, my wife will just have to suck it up, literally. It's a price worth paying, right?
I don't know.
It would be annoying. You can't just go into any store and take a pair of pants off the rack.
You can't go outside.
Be immortal.
I feel like if you went outside, you'd be labeled a sex offender just for people seeing it.
Well, that's the other thing that I was wondering about these guys is how do they exist in public? Like, how do you go around with just a pair of balls that gigantic? Like, how do you go hiking? Or how do you just sit at a restaurant without everybody staring at you? Although I guess I will.
Saying a dude had big balls before this episode, to me, sounded like a compliment. After this episode, it's like the most disgusting thing ever. Like, hey, that dude's got big balls. All I'm going to think of is this now, not like a really brave dude.
I know. All right. Anyway, that was a tweet, and I'll let you handle the second death.
Yep. So the second death is of a man named Joe Quader, who we previously mentioned. He was the silicone expert. So we'll find out what happened to him right now. Joe Quader's information was handed over to the local police department by Dovak's partner, as previously stated, and this investigation would lead to multiple cases of botched surgeries and complaints arising. 5 additional men who had been hospitalized due to him rallied against him in the case. The district attorney settled upon charging Quader with manslaughter, and instead, Joe Quader promptly committed, he killed himself upon hearing the news. Oof. So, I mean, he did it himself, obviously, but also it's kind of attached to the case. So I'm going to count it as like a death related to Dylan Hafertepen, because he was involved in that.
Agreed. I think we can add him to Dylan's kill count. I mean, the guy, he was the one promoting him and referencing him and saying, hey, I have a buddy called Joe. You should totally get your balls inflated by him, which eventually got the guy in trouble.
So when they inflate their balls to these comically large levels, do they exist like this forever, or do they drain the balls? To get it back down to a manageable level?
I could be wrong. Correct me, Chad, if I am. But from what I understand, the balls kind of deflate naturally over time because the saline, like your body has a way of washing out the saline, I guess, or the silicone, rather.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think
So it's a natural
If I
process.
remember correctly, I do think they need like regular injections to keep them as inflated as they are. It's not a one-time thing.
Gross. I regret asking. All right, so this is I think this is a message from this is from the partner of the guy that Joe killed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, am I reading it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
So Rob Waltman says, "Hey, thanks for posting this. It was my partner Peter that was killed by the guy that Dylan referred him to. He died of a silicone embolism, not sepsis. You don't hear that every day, silicone embolism. Peter hated Dylan and only turned to him because he would know who to contact to get the procedure done himself. The guy who Dylan referred him to, Joe Quater, committed suicide the day before the detective in charge of Pete's case was going to arrest him for manslaughter because his lawyer tipped him off. Sadly, I have zero sympathy for all parties involved. If my partner's death wasn't enough to warn them, they got what was coming to them. If there were any justice in the world, Dylan would be headed for prison." And then 21 people replied with the crying emoji and the thumbs up.
It's comical to see the Facebook crying emoji underneath that.
I know.
Like, yeah, I'll give this traumatic message a little cry emoji. That'll be enough to show my support. Those little like Facebook reactions always look so dumb. All right. And then we come to the big one, right?
Yeah.
I agree with Rob Waltman's post there. I wish Dylan headed to prison after that first situation. And if the investigators did their job, they probably should have, because he's implicitly tied to the death by sending him to this guy, Joe Quater, to do this illegal.
For sure.
I would assume it's illegal.
I would imagine that you could somehow like find an actual doctor to do this to you, like a cosmetic surgeon to do this safely. But I guess they wanted to cut corners and just went to like a fucking, I don't know, like a tattoo artist who just had the equipment.
There is no way directly injecting silicone into your testicles is a medically healthy procedure.
Yeah,
There's no way a doctor
I'm
would do
just
that.
saying, like in the capitalist US, I'm sure you could find a doctor to at least do it in like a sterilized room. And not hit a vein.
I don't think that was the issue. I don't think the sterilized room was the issue.
Well, at least
the
not
fact that
find
he
a vein.
jammed that thing directly into a vein was the issue.
So our next subject is Tank. This is Tank. Now, if you're on audio only, Tank looks exactly like a gay dwarf from The Lord of the Rings. He looks kind of adorable. It's kind of a very like sad story because he looks like just so full of life, and he genuinely just looks like he wants a you know that meme from The Lord of the Rings where the guy goes like, "You have my axe," and it's this dwarf with a big bushy beard? He looks exactly like that guy, except with a nose ring. But he's happy, and he's holding up a piece of paper that says, "Your pup loves you so much, heart." And it's a little like drawing of a heart.
To run defense a bit, I only have a problem with the master in the situation, Dylan Hafertepen. I feel bad for the pups because they're clearly like mentally ill and were taken advantage of by someone who wanted to exert control over them and do some disgusting things. So I do feel bad for them, especially none more so than Jack Tank Chapman, who we're talking about right now. So Jack Andrew Chapman, eventually Tank Heathcliff Hafertepen, was born on February 13th, 1990 in Australia. That's where I live. He lived in Melbourne and had graduated from La Trobe University with a Bachelor's of Arts specializing in social research. He was, unfortunately for him, the kind of man Dylan liked. Dylan and Jack would meet online in early 2010 through the furry forums that they frequented, and they would go on to move to the ones Dylan hosted as Jack was a fan of his. At the time of their first interactions, Dylan was living in San Francisco and Jack in Melbourne, Australia. In 2012, their casual chats would soon evolve into something romantic, with them eventually taking up a romantic online relationship. Soon, Jack would fly himself over to California, where he would take part in a beginner contract, by the way, not the full-fledged contract that we saw before. This was the starter wheels of contract. Yeah.
Twitch affiliate.
This was the trial run. He would take part in a beginner contract with Dylan so he could be tested as a pup before making anything official. According to Dylan, in a website dedicated to Tank Hafertepen, The quote is, "We were determined to make the long-distance relationship work, chatting regularly, making Skype calls and planning trips. I was unable to visit him in Australia, but he made one more trip to San Francisco before applying to the green card lottery. Throughout 2012, all seemed to be well for the new lovers."
Sorry, was this mostly an online relationship then?
To begin with, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But then he moved.
If Jack, I think Tank is the name that what's his name? Dylan gave to him. So I feel kind of uneasy about using Tank as his name.
Well, they all kind of look like tanks, you know. But yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, if Jack was underage at the time, this would be like 100% grooming. But because he's not, I don't really consider it grooming. But it definitely has those hallmarks of this guy reaching out online and like coaxing him into this lifestyle and
yeah, mentally weak, desperate people. There's no excuse for this. Look, like you said, you don't want to shit talk the dead people, but at the same time, they are grown ass men, right?
Yeah,
that's the thing about this episode is none of these people are children. They did kind of like agree to all this nonsense.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, they're clearly mentally ill. So
yeah, they're fucking retarded for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So at what point? Yeah, it's like that. Adults can still be victims of manipulation, 100%, which means, like, yeah, I don't know. It's tricky, but Dylan is definitely like the worst of the worst here, and is the abuser in this situation. So throughout 2012, all seemed to be well for the new lovers, as Jack was quickly accepted into Dylan's world and accepted by those who would eventually become his harem in 2013. So yeah, Jack was a part of this initial construction of the harem. It was at this time that Dylan was setting up and amassing the harem and moving from simply being polyamorous to this more harem lifestyle. For those of you that don't know, I don't really know the difference, but a harem I think is just more of like a large scale group of people that are like the slaves to your master kind of aspect.
Yeah, a harem comes from the Ottoman Empire, the Caliphate, in which you would have literally a room full of women, like 20 or so women that basically just acted as sex slaves. In this case, big gay bear men with big balls.
Yeah. Who were all the... So were they banging each other or just the master?
Yes. Both.
Okay. But, well, yeah, I know they were banging master. I didn't know if they were having sex with each other as well, though. Or if it was just transactional
I would imagine
with master.
If you're the master, you would sometimes just want them to kiss each other, right? I mean, if you had a harem, you would make all the girls do that, right?
True, yeah. 2013 would see Jack win the green card lottery, and very quickly things changed. Jack sold his home in Melbourne, rid himself of any belongings that couldn't fit in a suitcase, and flew himself to San Francisco to live his big bold dreams, where Dylan would help pay for his rent. Seemingly on the outside of this relationship, everything was what Jack could have hoped for. However, the statements that would come out from people closer to him later revealed a darker and more insidious story brewing beneath the sheets. A man named Aaron Clarke from New Zealand, who claimed to be close to Jack when he lived in Australia, had much to say on this. You can read the quote.
Quote, Aaron says, Jack was an attractive, amazing, gentle soul, looking for his place in the world. You could tell that he was lonely, that he struggled, but his love of life, his kindness, his perspective on life and things was refreshing. Then he met Dylan Hafertepen. Dylan saw something in Jack and started courting him. Jack, eager to please, was happy and seemingly dumbfounded that Dylan, of all people, was getting interested in him. Fell hard. Jack started changing. First, it was working out more and emulating the shape that Dylan was and sought in others. Then came the master tattoo on his back.
That is a big jump. First was working out and eating right. Then he got a tattoo that said master on his back. It's an enormous jump.
I mean, you can't even send, I would imagine, you can't really send steroids transcontinental like that, right, into Australia. So Jack
Probably
may
not.
have actually been natty in his native land before he moved to San Francisco too. And then it all came tumbling down with the branding.
Which is where Dylan would have pumped him full of these chemicals and stuff.
Isn't it actually, now that I think about it, isn't it a little counterproductive to inject your pups, your submissive slave boys, with steroids? Like, doesn't testosterone make you angry?
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Doesn't it make your testicles small?
Oh, that explains so much. That would make sense why they would have to artificially inflate them. Maybe it was just to counteract the effects of the steroids.
Oh yeah, maybe like they were trying to get it to like a normal size to counteract the steroids, but like a mad scientist, they went too far and they got them too big, and they realized they couldn't go back.
I didn't mean for my balls to be this big. Whoops. Oh, geez.
Yeah, the calculation was wrong.
I'll
have
let
to
you
take
continue.
it back to the drawing board. Jack was by all accounts a man beloved by his community and friends, yet suffered internally from thoughts of self-doubt and found himself lost in the world. Seeking to find some sort of connection, he was the perfect target for Dylan, and Dylan groomed him for his enlarging fetish. I don't know what to call it. It's an inflation kick, right? That's what it's called, inflation kick.
Well,
okay,
not
so he
this
groomed
one
him for his inflation kick.
Well, this is an inflation technically. It's also not feederism. This is a distinct form. I don't know what this is called. Maybe somebody in the chat is even more of a...
Someone said
fucking hot pro.
ballflation, maybe that. But it's more to do with like the entire body.
Yeah, like beefing up. It is like feederism, but with protein and steroids. Like, I don't want you to be fat. I want you to be super muscular and big.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is
to call
called.
it.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, he manipulated him into this fetish. Aaron says that when he visited Melbourne for a trip, Jack was working on a qualification for massage therapy and needed to practice, and so Aaron was to be the subject. It was at this point when Jack came over that he revealed all that had happened at this point in the relationship, including that they had recently broken up.
Dylan had collared him, and then in brackets, when he visited him in America, a big moment in a dom/sub relationship. The chain and lock was around his neck, but as we spoke, I heard him worrying things. Dylan had broken up with him because Jack wasn't good enough. This devastated Jack, and he was determined to show Dylan how loyal he was to him. He refused to take the chain off even though Dylan refused to hand over the key. Dylan, living in San Francisco at the time, and Jack in Australia.
So they broke up and Jack came back with his collar still attached.
Yeah, by the way, so somebody put this photo in chat and I opened it. You can see the collars here. And for audio listeners, again, they're at some sort of a event called Steamworks Baths. I don't know what it is, but I guess it's like a gay get-together. And it is Dylan, it's Phil, one of his pups, it's Tank, Jack, and some other dude I don't recognize. And the latter two have chain collars and like bike locks, not bike locks, but big locks around their necks. Essentially, I mean...
Oh. And then you scroll down and I saw giant nuts.
Yes, sorry.
I thought this is a friendly event.
But yes, but anyway, the main focus should be that Tank and the unknown man both have literal chains around their necks with gigantic locks, while Tank's is kind of small. I don't know what that implies or how the sizes are assigned. But he refused to take it off, apparently.
It's like a decorative element too, because is it like if we go back to that photo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So then if you go into the document, right, and scroll up to the harem, I've got pictures of everyone in the harem. We have Chuck, Alpha Pup, Osborne, Matthew, Angus, Scott, Daniel, of course, Phil. Sorry, Daniel Hafertepen. Jesus, whatever his name is his husband. Phil, Biff Myers.
I was saying Phil, this looks like the guy on the left. That's Phil for sure, right? That seems like Phil.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's, of course, our main guy and Tank. And Dylan. I cannot recognize a fourth guy here.
No, he doesn't seem to be one of them.
Yeah.
He might just be but he's chained. He's got a chain.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the pups. Do we have a final count on the pups?
No,
how many he had?
I don't know.
Wait, somebody in chat said it. From left, okay, it's Biff. Okay, Dylan, Tank, and Armin Ellis.
A friend.
Yeah, it says friend, but he has the collar.
Maybe
he's like friend.
Maybe he's part of a different harem.
Yeah.
It's a rival harem.
All right, anyway.
Aaron tried to be a good friend, so Aaron, the friend of Jack, tried to be a good friend and reason with Jack that soon he would be able to move past this and have more fulfilling relationships with other people. you know that kind of thing where your friend breaks up with someone and you're there to support them. And you're like, don't worry, it'll get better. That kind of stuff. So that's what was happening. But Jack was unfortunately deep into the cult of personality Dylan had cultivated, and he desperately wished to win back his master. Dylan would soon accept Jack back, but at a price. At any given point, Dylan would make demands about Jack's lifestyle and expect him to obey or cut him off again. People would very quickly be cut out of his life, most importantly those close to him who were concerned about him and who had tried to reason with him and help him out of what was very quickly appearing to be a deeply abusive and controlling relationship. Jack's friends soon learned. What gave it away? The fucking master tattoo or the giant fucking bike lock around his neck?
The contract.
Jack's friends. So many different elements, right? He's increasingly larger and larger testicles. This behavior was compounded and pushed aggressively by Dylan's online popularity, with hordes of gooners on his website defending his behavior. Aaron says that their only hope in seeing Jack survive this abusive cycle was the physical distance between them. And this is another quote.
Jack won the lottery, the U.S. green card lottery. Then, with short notice, he moved to San Francisco to be with Dylan and his other pups. This is when the abuse escalated. Jack went online to air out issues, and he was reprimanded harshly and worried a lot of us as he fell off the face of the earth into whatever punishment Dylan had created for him. Jack would take all responsibility for anything done wrong, always taking the bullet for Dylan. Dylan had burned through the largest gay community in the United States, and the confrontation of his abuse and his narcissism led him to isolate the people he has abused to keep them from leaving. Dylan had burned through the largest gay community in the United States.
I guess he made enemies. Yeah, I think so. Because he eventually he moved away from San Fran after that. Unfortunately, the hopes from Jack's friends that he could find his way out of the abusive relationship would fall short as Jack vanished into the American dream of being a puppy slave for his master.
That's why I came to America.
It's the American dream, baby. It's what our forefathers intended. Everyone needs a puppy and everyone needs a master. As stated by Aaron during this abuse, Jack would post about his problems online, and Dylan would be run out of San Francisco by the gay community, with him moving his harem all the way to Seattle as the drama and antics of his group spiraled out into the open. Further isolated from the people who he had come to know in San Francisco, Jack found himself knowing few, if any at all, people in Seattle, and so he fell deeper and deeper under the control of Dylan as he became increasingly isolated. I mean, that's like tactic number one of cults is isolation.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like,
your only friend. Stop talking to your family.
Yeah. You can't have a cult without that sense of isolation. The conflicted mental state of utter devotion to his master and shattering pain of his own was aired online once before he was advised to remove it. Under the old name of Branded Bull Tank, I think, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That anyway, it's a username that Jack used. He would post a long and painful rant about how he is unworthy and a horrible human being because he dared to go visit a friend and get in his hot tub. Do you want to read this post on Jack's?
Yeah, I do. God,
whatever this is.
Yeah,
it is sad.
Like Tumblr. It looks like Tumblr, and he's posting under the name Brutes and Daddies, or maybe that's just a page. Oh yeah, I think that's just a page.
He's
Branded Bull Tank, and he says. And he leads it with a photo of himself crying, I think. He's very red in the face.
Yeah.
He says, let's get a few things established. I am shit. I am a shit person. I do horrible and inexcusable things. I am dishonest. I am deceitful. I am a coward. I am stupid. I hurt my master. I don't deserve love. I don't deserve forgiveness. I only deserve to suffer. A pup needs to ask his master and get his permission to meet with people to do activities which are outside of his regular routines. A pup also needs to be upfront with his master about things that might seem suspicious and ask his advice. A pup is to avoid even being in situations which could potentially arouse suspicions in his master. And, oh my God. This goes on. All right.
Keep reading.
Yes, Jackson, I will keep reading.
Keep reading, I love it.
Last Sunday, I was invited to the house of a long-term platonic friend. I've known him for a long time, and for almost as long he's talked about his dream of refinancing his mortgage and building a hot tub in his backyard. Oh, Do people really refinance their mortgage just for a hot tub?
I guess. A hot tub's that expensive? I thought it'd be like maybe 10 or 20.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe 10 grand at the most. Like,
yeah, even that seems very extreme. I don't know.
I mean, I guess if he like built a giant like deck and entertainment area or something.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Over my time in the United States, he actually built it and was proud to show me. And that was part of the invitation. I asked Master for permission to take up the invitation, and he agreed. When I spoke to Master about the hot tub, we agreed it was a situation that would arouse too much uncertainty, and I was to avoid the hot tub altogether.
I don't really understand the
what?
logic here, because if you trusted him to go over and hang out with this dude alone anyway, like what's the hot tub difference going to be? They're going to fuck outside of the hot tub. If they're
Yeah, the paragraph is
right?
confusing. Like, Master gave you permission, but you're not allowed to actually get in the hot tub that you were invited to check out.
Yeah, so
That's weird.
the permission was given to go hang out with him, but not to enter the hot tub, which seems, I don't know.
Odd. Yeah, pointless.
Yeah.
I brought a swimsuit with me, which, in this community, this means a jockstrap. I kept it in the car for at first. Quote, I'm better than that, I thought. I wasn't. When he brought
Better
up the
than
hot
what?
tub...
Just fucking hopping in a hot tub? What do you mean? I'm such a dirty boy.
When he brought up the hot tub, I reluctantly agreed. Earlier during my stay, I had already badly hurt his feelings. He had taken a day of work to spend with me, and I ended up spending it at the passport office. And to add extra insult, I had double booked myself for dinner with someone else that night. Visiting him was
These
my
pups
apology.
Need like a scheduling department or something.
Yeah,
they need like a secretary.
How come Master didn't schedule this for you? Why is the puppy all alone in this anyway?
Yeah.
I knew he would be disappointed if I declined his invitation to show off the thing he was most proud of. We had bathed naked before. There has What a sentence. Have you ever bathed naked with your bros before, Jackson?
I'm not gay, so I can't. I don't know how
What?
common that is.
That's not gay.
I've never,
Wow, okay.
I've never I guess in
Jeez.
Japan it's common, like at onsens and stuff, but no, I've never bathed naked with people.
There has never been anything sexually between us, and I knew there wouldn't ever be. I figured it was a rather benign thing to do. At least that's how I rationalized it to myself. I got into the hot tub. We were both wearing swimsuits. We reminisced about some of the production woes of a play we did together, and he described his fondness for a new musical about the childhood of Alison Bechdel on Broadway.
What does this have to do with anything?
I have no fucking idea, but it does definitely sound gay. I don't even know what Alison Beckley is, but I know Broadway is very gay. I felt guilty and uncomfortable the whole time. When it became too much, I got out, dried myself off, and changed back into my clothes. When Master asked about what I did about that evening, I was too cowardly to tell the truth. I was dishonest. I told my master that I told the friend that my brand needed more time to heal and I couldn't go into the hot tub. It was the second time Master asked that I cracked. I couldn't lie to him again. I love my master. I'm loyal to my master. I would never sleep around on him. This is gonna get clipped on me again, isn't it? There's gonna be angry people on fucking Reddit saying, "Oh, Kaya is a fucking gay pop in men's bathtubs." At this point, I worry that it doesn't even matter whether I did or not. I've already destroyed his trust. I can't prove a negative. I can't prove that I haven't been unfaithful to him. And even if I could, I still betrayed him. I am still guilty. I still don't deserve to be forgiven. In a post like this, in the past, I would promise to be better. But as I have demonstrated, my words are worthless. Then I would say, don't believe my words, believe my actions when you see them. But I just proved that my actions are worthless too.
Jesus.
I am untrustworthy. I'm deceitful. I am a coward. I am selfish. I am a bad pup, an awful slave, a bad lover, and a bad friend.
What was
so
the bad
sorry.
lover part? Why did he throw that in there?
I don't know. I mean, the pup isn't really supposed to be a lover to the master.
I feel like, I feel like this is definitely like being co-written by Dylan, right? I feel like he's been guiding this message.
I don't know. This guy definitely seems very low confidence to write something like this. I'm a bad an awful slave and a bad lover and a bad friend. I'm so sorry. So very deeply sorry. All I can do is throw myself at my master's feet and beg for his mercy. My master deserves only the best from his pups. He deserves perfection, and I have deeply failed. Not only on this occasion, but multiple times. I know in my heart that the worst punishment he could exact is also the one I deserve the most. A future without him.
No!
Master called me today, his eyes full of tears. It broke my heart to see. At the end of the call, he called me Jack. And when I said I was his pup, he corrected me, saying his pup wouldn't do anything like this.
It's
Pup
so
card
sad.
revoked. Oh no, he's merely Jack now. He's a normie.
Please call me pup, just one last time.
No.
I need it.
I don't know who I am right now. Is he Jack or is he a pup? He doesn't know. He's suffering. Wait, that's not true. There are a few things I do know. I am shit. I am a shit person. I do horrible and inexcusable things. I am dishonest. I am deceitful. I am a coward. I am stupid. I hurt my master. I don't deserve love. I don't deserve forgiveness. I only deserve to suffer. And I am far away from him right now. And that I am scared with all of my being that I won't be able to see him again. And a larger part of me says that I'm not worthy of that, or anything at all. I know that I love my master. I know that I want to be better and make things right. Jesus.
God, that's so sad. This is so sad. The mental damage that has been done to this person by Dylan. I mean, yeah, he was mentally ill before this to be in this position in the first place, but yeah, this is fucked up. This is so...
I didn't know all this. I had... If I have read this ever in my life, I forgot about it. But yeah, this guy's obviously he has some mental issues, man.
Yeah, this is something you would see from like a 15-year-old girl who's just gone through their first breakup, maybe.
Yeah, he's like an abused dog. Jesus. No, he is a pup.
Yeah.
All right. It's your turn.
Sad situation, definitely. Dylan would yet again break up with Jack, forcing him to grovel and work harder to appease him, all in a big game of control. Though it had seemed for a time that Jack would actually escape all of this, Jack tried to make his own way and forge his own path for several months alone in Seattle with whatever support he could gather, but through all of it, Dylan was still in the background. In an attempt to drag him back, Dylan would attempt to issue a summons to court for the money Dylan had spent on Jack's rent. So, as a way of like getting Jack's attention some more, he would send court orders asking
and
for
bully
rent
him.
money.
And bully him. By the way, you can't really do this. You can't just like be like, hey, my gift to you, I'll pay your rent for a month. And then go,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, you owe me that.
Yeah, you owe me.
Yeah,
Come
it
to
was
court.
either a gift or it wasn't. So Jack
It's
says
very
on,
petty.
I don't know what platform this is, maybe Instagram. He says, I make about $2,800 a month. It would take 2 months for me to pay him back. Meanwhile, he makes between $300,000 and $400,000 annually. Jesus, it's not about the money.
Is that just from the... I wonder if that's just from the fetish website and stuff like that, if there's that much money in it.
No, the funny thing about furries is that a lot of furries are in very prestigious like IT jobs. Oddly enough, like furries are genuinely wealthy people for whatever fucking reason. I think it's just like a lot of autistic gay men who work for like Raytheon and shit. And they make a lot of money just programming drones to nuke people. And then, okay, these are DMs. Do you want me to read these?
Yep, keep reading.
Okay. So, is this Tank speaking? I think so. He make me promise him under duress that I wouldn't speak to anyone about our relationship. Otherwise, he would take me to small claims court. That was not a realistic request to make of me, or of anyone. We were together 7 years. Our relationship contract doesn't matter. It isn't binding. Uh-oh, Jack is waking up.
7 years.
Speaking to Chuck recently, Dylan told him he says that he still loves me and wishes we could get a fresh start. Threatening me with court every time he wants my attention is a pretty way of doing it. I think he meant petty.
Pretty crappy.
Oh,
Pretty
pretty
crappy.
crappy. And then the third party, somebody whose name we don't have, says,
Yes,
you say
don't know,
that like
don't
this
know.
happened before? Question mark. Jack says, oh yes, this is about the third time. Third party guy says, Third time? Christ almighty. Jack says, the first time he's gone this far, though. When I behave myself, he takes the threat away. Whenever he's upset with me or wants to get my attention, it comes back.
And then there's the court order.
Yeah, an actual court order from the small claims court for Jack to pay back the rent, I guess, that Dylan was paying for him.
Yeah.
And it's dated September 22, 2017. So roughly 8 years ago, 7 years ago or so.
So see, Dylan is clearly like extremely insecure as well. If he needs this much control over his puppies, and if they like leave him, he like sends out court orders to try to get their attention and stuff. That speaks to an like incredibly petty and insecure person.
Yeah. I'm gonna sue you if you don't worship me.
Yeah. In a conversation to a board user named Afear, Jack is quoted as saying this on his relationship with Dylan. Quote, I emotionally backed off when I knew he could fill me with so much shame that I would either have a nervous breakdown or disassociate with myself. And then there's I think this is this is Master talking to Tank.
Yeah, this is Dylan messaging Tank. And he says, again, I cannot tell if this is Twitter or what.
I don't know. It's probably a furry app. Wait, no, I think it's Messenger.
Fur Affinity.
I think it's an old Messenger browser.
Could be. Tank, do you feel like you're keeping to our agreement? I just saw this post. I'm not sure how to feel. Are you okay? I hate to do this, but I assume you meant to break our agreements. If this is what you need to heal and move on, please give me a message. I don't want to take you to small claims. I'll give you till tomorrow if you're interested in talking about this. Otherwise, I'm going to act on our agreement. I just hate this. As he's casually threatening him.
So he's doing the whole thing where he's subtly trying to threaten him while still coming out as like, oh, I hate that you're making me do this, right?
Yeah, Abuser 101, by the way. Oh, don't make me do this to you. Look, when I get home, the dinner is either going to be warm or you're going to get beat. Don't make me do this. Come on.
Yeah.
I hate doing this.
Absolutely narcissistic.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, as evidenced in his contract he makes them all sign, he has extreme insight into everything his pups post online and was all too aware of this rant that Jack went through previously. And he used this to pull Jack further into his abyss, and he would push anyone who tried to help him away after this post. This is where the abuse became insidious, quiet, and coordinated. Something Aaron, himself having left a narcissistic family, was quick to point out. Aaron, the New Zealand guy from before.
The isolation, the defense of the narcissist, the cutting of anyone who questions Dylan in any way while maintaining a bright and bubbly social media presence. Meanwhile, the body morphing, the silicone, the dangerous things they were doing to achieve the body their master wanted continued. There were hints of abuse, of punishments, but they were quickly hidden, removed, and papered over.
While Jack had briefly been away, Dylan was ready as ever to replace him. He had trained and groomed his new pup, a man by the name of Angus. What was his name? I think it was Matthew Angus. Angus was the nickname. Matthew Scott. So Matthew Angus Scott. And this guy was intended to take the place of Jack in the harem.
So here's our Tank replacement, who is, looks like Tank. Yeah,
exactly.
Big beefy bro, hairy, very hairy back. Not as hairy as mine, but you know.
Similar kind of face structure, similar beard.
Yeah, same nose ring, same beard, kind of has a mohawk going on.
Mm-hmm. So Dylan had trained and groomed this new pup, Angus, to be the exact copy of Jack. Angus would be forced to shave his hair, grow out a big ginger beard, and sculpt his body to look as close to Jack as he could. Jack, though, would return regardless. How do you think Jack felt when he showed up and there was like a carbon clone of him waiting?
Okay, I mean, I guess we might as well.
There's a giant nutsack in the document that he just discovered. Jack would return regardless, and now Dylan had gained 2 more pups to play with. Soon after, the first victim, Peter Dovak, would reach out to Dylan, and promptly he died, obviously, but this would not stop Dylan or make him reconsider his antics. In fact, he would continue and double down on making Jack the focus of his testicular injections as punishment for his previous disobedience. A year after the death of Dovak, Jack would find himself sick and with a persistent cough. This was ignored by Dylan and his pups. Soon after, sadly, Jack too would die of a pulmonary embolism related to silicone in the body.
And then we have a photo of him with a ball sack that I
honestly don't know. I don't know who
is,
this is. I don't know who this is. Which person it is. It's either the new pup or Jack.
Either Angus or Jack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and wait, I don't even know if we can show this on Patreon, to be honest. But
we can't show it.
Bent over a couch or some sort of a table thing, and he has a tramp stamp that says Dylan's property, and he has a ball sack that I think I can confidently say is twice the size of his head. Like each ball is head sized.
It is.
That is a lot of liters of silicone. Holy shit!
It is the size, like, genuinely goes down to his knees. Like, it is the size of his thighs.
Yeah, they're gigantic. He actually does look like the cartoon, like, hentai characters in this one.
I didn't even know. I thought they would just, like, explode if they ever got that big. I didn't realize that you could just continuously expand them.
How do you live like this? Like, can you imagine, you know that feeling, because you're a man. I assume that whenever you go grocery shopping, you also do the thing where you, like, try to carry all the groceries from the car to your home in one go. Mm-hmm. Imagine living like that. It's like, just you're always carrying 50 fucking pounds of groceries between your legs. This would be so tedious.
Tearing down on your gooch, basically, like how
dragging you down feel? And like stretching out your balls to the floor. This would be so painful and annoying at all times. Like, you can't run. You would have to walk with like one of those granny walkers.
Surely they regret it as soon as they like come.
Well, I don't know. I mean, they're not even allowed to come without Dylan's permission, so.
True. Yeah, I guess it's not about them. Immediately, Dylan went into damage control. He even went so far as to log into Jack's account, and he would then go on to masquerade as him, prolonging the death announcement and acting as the now dead man. According to a Tumblr user who had known Jack, a former employer of his had issued a statement regarding the death of Jack, and upon hearing this, they became concerned. However, they knew this group Jack was a part of received a lot of hate online, and did not take this as truth immediately. As mutual friends reached out to Daniel, who was Dylan's husband, they would receive a response immediately claiming that Jack was, quote, fine, end quote. Seemingly good news, but the rumors still persisted the next day. They next reached out to Dylan directly to inform him of the online gossip and asked directly if Jack was okay. Dylan's response was, quote, oh my god, why is everyone so obsessed with us? End quote. In an hour, Dylan would message this Tumblr user again saying that Jack was, quote, rather upset about these rumors and asked for the source of them all. Meanwhile, remember, Jack's dead. Soon, Dylan became demanding and rude and suggested that this user and their friends were the ones spreading the gossip and would be telling Jack just how awful they are, and that Jack would not consider them friends before both Dylan and Jack's accounts blocked them on all social media. 2 hours later after this, Dylan would send out his newsletter where he showed off his modded genitals and dance parties, which is where I think that picture from above comes from. The picture of the nutsack.
Mm-hmm.
So he had like this newsletter that he would send out showing all the, swollen testicles and shit like that. Oddly enough, he also made a claim that people were starting rumors about his own death, which is a strange play to make given the current rumors around Jack's death. A few hours after that, it was officially announced. So again, a few hours again after that, it was officially announced on Facebook that Jack had died. According to the timeline of the employee's death statement, Jack's time spent in hospital and passing away, and the conversations Dylan had had with this user, it would seem that Jack had in fact died a whole 48 hours previous to this incident. Instead of trying to spread news of his death, alert friends and family, and do all those kinds of respectful stuff, or even just staying silent, Dylan attempted damage limitation by pretending Jack was alive, impersonating him, encouraging the others in the harem to lie about it, and then promoting his newsletter and the procedures that caused the death in the first place. So what the fuck?
Oh my god.
Like actual scumbag.
Okay, and then we have messages on Facebook Messenger from Dylan Hafertepen, and he says, Actually, I'm talking to the pups. We want to find out who started this and set them straight. This is really inappropriate. Could you share any information you have about it? Or better yet, since you're in you're in with that group, Tank would really appreciate it if you could help find the culprit. Tank
is dead, by the way.
Yeah, he's in the beyond.
Yeah,
he's in
been
limbo
dead for
right
about
now.
2 days at this point.
His balls are stiffening with rigor mortis. Somebody says that's the furthest back that the info that got to me came from. And Dylan replies, which friend? Tank is rather upset. I would be too if I was dead. We're going to resolve this. Or, what's the name of the person who worked with Tank? Question mark.
So he's like trying to fucking FBI, investigate who
plug the leaks.
Who leaked this in the first place. But like, it's gonna come out anyway. I don't know why he even did this. Like, obviously he's not gonna be able to like cover up a death. Like, what? How? What is the game plan?
When you have this much narcissism and ego going to your brain, I think you probably might actually think that you could cover up a death. He might have even put it into the contract, like, hey, all of my pups you have to cover for me if I commit a murder, by the way. Like the Scientology thing.
I could see like Boogie believing that he could get away with this, so I could also see this guy thinking that he could get away with it. So Dylan also posted on October 16th, the day after Jack's death, about some wildfire smoke that was affecting Seattle, and he tried to use it as an implication it could be involved in the death of Jack that was yet to be announced. So this was a picture of Dylan, and that is Jack on the right there, I think, right? It looks like him.
Yeah, that's Jack and then Dylan.
Yep,
again,
so
looking very kawaii. If it didn't have the sad backstory, this is almost cute.
Yeah. He posted this the day after. He posted a picture of Jack the day after his death, by the way. Like giving a thumbs up, like pretending this post is from them.
And he said, arrived home to Angus, Biff, Tank, and Seattle shrouded in wildfire smoke. This year the wildfires are so bad there was a government warning in effect. Pollution was so bad, even otherwise healthy individuals were discouraged from going outside without protection. And they're wearing pink respirators?
Respirators, yeah.
Yeah, it's very cute.
Of course they are. So I think the implication, he's like trying to set this up as a potential reason why Tank died. Like he would have died from the wildfire smoke. Even though he posted picture proof right there that he was using a respirator. So,
yeah.
Man.
That's an interesting conspiracy theory, but yes.
Regardless, people eventually found out about the death as soon as seen above. Dylan would then post some alleged last words said by Jack, if you want to read these alleged last words.
Quote.
Yeah, this is from Jack, apparently.
Thank you for allowing me to serve you. Your friendship, love, guidance, orders, and ownership have had such a profound impact on my life that I don't recognize myself. You're shaping me into your perfect pup, and I couldn't be happier. And then he died.
That's what he said on his deathbed.
I know.
I couldn't be happier.
You know, whenever like atheists die, and then you have religious people like basically rewriting their history, going, yeah, when Charles Darwin died, he converted to Christianity and he said, Jesus, I love you, please forgive me. This comes across with like that energy, like, yeah, 100%. When he died, he said, Dylan, I love you so much. You are my God.
You were such a good master.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were the best master I could have ever had. And I died from smoke inhalation and not testicular torsion or whatever.
You didn't abuse me at all.
Yeah. If only I hadn't gone out to see the wildfires in person. Like you said not to, but I couldn't help myself. Okay. So yeah, that's basically the end of the story, but we do have another kind of segment here, and this is genuinely sad. Like we now go beyond just the impacts within this like fetishistic cult to the people that have been affected by it beyond, you know, the individuals involved. And we're talking about like family members of the people that have died, just people that don't deserve this shit. That's very sad, obviously. So Jack's mother, Linda, would reach out to Dylan seeking to have his ashes returned to her in person back in Melbourne. Unbeknownst to Dylan, she was full of rage and grief and firmly hated Dylan, believing the sole blame for all the pain and suffering in Jack's life was his fault and he caused the death. She had contacted an Australian TV news crew known as The Project, and they agreed the camera crew would be present for the meeting where the ashes were to be exchanged. So she knew better than anyone, really, because she was, the mother of Jack. She was in contact with him and stuff. She would have known how, deplorable and disgusting Dylan had been and how manipulative.
Can you tell us anything about The Project? Is this like the BBC 60 Minutes?
It's kind of like a news show that's more like pop culture-y and trendy. They kind of like don't cover the big world news. They like do local domestic affairs and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just like it's like a talk show. It's shit. I've seen it a few times and I've absolutely hated the people on there. So don't recommend them.
Okay.
But yeah, they covered this. Dylan violently disagreed with this, and it quickly turned into a confrontation for which he would later sue the news channel. It was during this confrontation, though, that it was discovered that prior to his death, Jack had changed his will to leave everything he had to Dylan instead of his own autistic brother, who was living off a disability pension that the money was originally intended for. This included 200,000 Australian dollars that was in his name. Dylan said he would, quote, return the money, but not with this animosity. Man, so not only did he kill this man, he's stealing all of the money for himself that was intended to go. Don't open that. That was intended to go to. That was intended to go to his autistic brother. He's disabled,
disabled guy too. You're stealing from a disabled boy.
And a mourning mother, by the way. Like, obviously, that you killed this. I mean, this guy is awful. So obviously, he's going to hoard the money for himself. But the money should rightfully be going to the family of the deceased person, especially when there's an autistic brother, a disabled brother involved. So that's that's the full episode. I've clipped them individually, which is the clips that I sent you. So we'll just go through them. It's not really funny, but to give context and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just of the meeting.
Yeah, tell me which ones to play.
Just one. Start with one.
Okie dokie. Here we go.
And I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. He was in the hospital for a week. And nobody thought that a mother might want to know.
Jack asked me not to tell you unless absolutely necessary.
Well, don't you think it was necessary?
For audio listeners, by the way, it's Jack's mom sitting in a room with
and like a support
Dylan.
Group, family members.
A support group, and there's Dylan on the opposite couch.
Necessary when he's on a ventilator, being in an induced coma. You didn't ring me straight away. I don't know if you had the most important person in your life dead, would you like to be told?
I'm sorry, Linda. It was very difficult for me.
You piece of shit. You couldn't tell his family that he was on a ventilator? Oh, man.
He was posting fake posts with the guy giving a thumbs up. Like, yeah, hey, everything is great. Yay, we're fishing. Haha, hooray.
Remember the wildfires, yeah. Also, the person next to him, if you want to scroll back a bit, the person sitting next to him, I just realized that I think that might be Alpha Pup. That might be Chuck
Yeah,
Osborne,
that is Alpha Pup. I think so, too. Hold on.
Do you know anything about Alpha Pup? Because he seems like the most like normal looking dude.
No, well, he looks like a anime villain almost. Alpha Pup, also, aka what is his name? Let me see.
Chuck Osborne.
Chuck Osborne, even has a cartoon name. Yeah, no, that looks like him. I don't know anything about him. I guess he's the Alpha Pup because he's like an older daddy-looking guy. I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder why he's there. Maybe he's the most closely involved with Dylan? I'm not sure.
Yeah, his right-hand man. Okay, do we do clip 2?
Yeah.
I know you're upset.
And I'm also upset that 3 weeks before he died, he made a will. What was that about?
I thought it was silly. He forced the issue.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, if there ever was something suspicious, it's writing a will 3 weeks before you die. That's like taking out a life insurance right before your wife poisons you. in the middle of the night.
Especially when you're the one injecting silicone into testicles, right? Like you're directly in charge of how much silicone is going in there.
Yeah, or you're one of your minions. Yeah.
You previously have had someone die from the exact same thing. Yeah, I really don't chalk this up to an accident. It does seem like murder to me, but what do I know?
Or carelessness, like manslaughter at the very least.
He should be in jail. He should be in jail.
Oh,
100%.
yeah, absolutely. He should absolutely be in jail. I just don't think it was probably murder. I don't think he would have wanted Tank to die. I just think he didn't give a fuck. Like, oh yeah, one other guy died on us, but hey, you have like big balls.
Maybe, but it's happened before, and also like the 3 weeks before the will being signed. I don't know. That's motive.
That is true. I don't know. 200,000 Australian dollars. I don't know how much that is in US dollars, but I feel like he was making enough money to not need the life insurance money. I don't know.
It's about 130 US dollars. 130K US dollars. Not 130.
That's still a lot of money to kill somebody for.
It's a lot of money.
I wouldn't put it past him, yeah.
Brother on a disability pension.
Oh no, there's the brother.
$200,000 is a pretty good price, isn't it?
He has $200,000.
Yep. $200,000.
Unless, yeah.
Why is he laughing?
I know.
What a fucking son of a bitch.
To describe it to audio listeners, the mom is like, hey, he had $200,000 in his bank account. How curious. Suspicious. Weird that he just died right after giving you all of the money in his will. And here's Dylan smirking.
$100,000.
Yeah, like he just found out that
Giggling.
he's won the lottery. He's
Yeah,
like, holy shit,
giggling.
I'm so lucky.
He's like, hey, I got away with it.
I was intending on giving it to them.
Well, you put that in writing?
No. Not with this animosity.
Ugh.
So they're like, so you'll give it to us? You want to put that in writing? And then he was like, not with this animosity. Like, you guys have to be friendly to me first after I just killed your son. Fuck. I hate him. I hate him so fucking much, man.
He is such a fucking douche. Is this?
He's
Chad is
such
telling
a
us
douche.
that the alpha pig has died. The alpha pup, sorry, has died.
No, that doesn't look like him.
It does look like him. Is that
No,
not
they're
him,
saying-
chat?
No, it's not him. His name right there is Steve Hurley. Someone different.
Oh, okay. My bad. Kind of looked like him. All right, clip 3.
Yep.
Oh, poor baby. I'm so feeling for you right now.
But for Linda, there is still one big question she wants answered. Who injected her son with silicone?
Why would they put that up there? Why would they choose that to be the photo?
So as this emotional moment is happening on this TV
Yeah.
show, they put up a photo of Tank, who again looks like the gayest dwarf in the Shire, with a big fat black diaper filled with his balls on a
What?
diving board or something of the
Why
sort.
would they? Surely the mum wouldn't approve of that being like the picture to use for this. What? Like, I feel like the project is evil for doing that. It's fucked up.
It looks
Like,
so
look at this fucking
photoshopped,
idiot.
but it's not.
It does.
I
It looks.
never
His head looks
done that
photoshopped.
to him. I forbid him from doing silicone after my friend Pete died.
I believe with all my heart that you are wholly and solely responsible for my son's death.
Okay.
I wish you were dead.
I wish I were dead too, Linda.
Nah.
Fucking
Cringe.
narcissist. That is such a narcissistic thing to say at that point.
I know. It's such a Boogie thing to say, too. Like, hey,
Yeah.
Boogie, you're such a douche. Oh, yeah, I wish I was dead, too. Fuck you. All right,
Yeah,
clip
I'm getting
4.
a lot of similarities here.
Mm-hmm.
But again, can we just talk really briefly about how fucking insensitive it was for this professional news team and news studio to use that picture when they're memorializing him, basically, and while she's like, while the mum is giving a desperate plea for justice in the background, like, come on.
Yeah, with these gigantic, like, elephant balls in his Speedo. Again, how do you
Yeah.
even exist like this in public? I genuinely don't get it. Like, imagine being in a I don't know, some sort of like Spanish resort or wherever this is.
Yeah, walking
Looking
around
like
that.
this. How
Has
are you
to be
comfortable
illegal.
with this? Well, the mother
I
continues.
heard of the abuse at your hand. I saw him taking that collar off his neck, and I saw him jump for joy.
Freedom.
Wait, what? Hold on. What is this from? So it is a
This
clip
was, I think,
of...
yeah.
Huh?
At some point, I believe he decollared himself when they were going through a spat, maybe. But then, obviously, they got involved again after that point. But yeah, he was very happy to be free of the collar at this point.
Yeah, it is somebody, a total stranger. I don't know who this man is, but it is somebody taking the collar off of Tank using a fence cutter. I don't know what those things are called.
A bolt cutter. It's a bolt cutter, and it looks like it's at some kind of like hardware department store. So I'm assuming he went there to ask someone to please just get the collar off him, which is sad. This
I've
is just
seen
sad,
it.
man.
You want to claim to love him?
It's like a slave being
Actually,
freed.
hold on. That guy looks like the fourth guy in the photo earlier.
It does a little bit. I was thinking that as well, but I don't know for sure. He looks slightly less muscly.
Him.
Yeah.
That's my son. That's my Jack. This is my son. Not what you turned him into. Not what you wanted him to be. Bigger, bigger, bigger. And never big enough. What sort of person injects into their freaking balls to please you?
Yeah, fucking creep.
What
That's
sort
her.
of person does that?
Oh, she's not happy. All right,
No.
clip 5.
Yep, the last clip.
So I'm waiting for that to be over so that I can proceed with the police.
All right, cut back to the studio.
Wow.
They don't know what to say.
For Linda, and I think her words, nothing can bring Jack back, but if this story can help other people in the same situation and other families who are watching their child. I mean, I'd never even heard of anything like that.
No, neither have I.
I like how it's like four normal, like a normie newscasters.
normie
and
dudes.
they just saw a pair of balls the size of 2 watermelons. They're like, this is
What the fuck did we just watch? I love the reaction of, I've never seen anything like that. Yeah, neither have I. Like, we didn't even. What the fuck did we just witness?
And the lady in the red dress is the only one talking, and everybody else is like, what the fuck? Like, the woman to her right
Someone
is
had to
quiet,
talk.
the man to her left, he has that look of, what do I say? What do I even say right now? How do I react?
Go back to the transition and just watch their like reactions. Like they realize they have to say something, but they're like speechless.
The guy on the far left has nothing to say.
Hard to even know.
He's like fidgeting, like the second person's like fidgeting with his sheets on the paper. He's like,
For Linda, and I
He
think
doesn't know what
words,
to say at all.
Nothing can bring Jack back, but if
And again, the lady in the red dress, God bless her soul, she just gives like a generic, I hope he's in heaven. Sad
I feel
story.
sorry for his family, etc.
Yeah. Kind of, and everybody else has no idea what to say. This is such a weird fucking story. I've been on the internet for like probably 20 years at this point, like 2 decades, and I don't know what to say. This is so fucking weird.
It's this fucking weird situation, man. Like murder through testicle explosions, basically, or testicle
embolisms. Yeah,
embolisms,
silicone heart attacks.
Very weird situation. So, despite it all, Dylan currently stalks Seattle still to this day, seemingly unburdened by the blood on his hand and, of course, the silicone in his balls. As a free man, though he has been pushed off the internet in many spaces, he is yet to face any real justice for his actions. And I'm not even sure if, he gave the $200K back. I would hope so, but I couldn't find anything concrete.
Wouldn't surprise me if he kept it.
Nope, neither. I hope he goes to jail. I hope this kind of episode gets the message out there about this deplorable fuckwit, and hopefully someone takes up the opportunity to like prosecute him for at least manslaughter, right? At least manslaughter.
Yeah. Well, the guy, the silicone artist or whatever they're called, at least he killed himself.
They were prosecuting him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least he recognized his part in the story, but still, I don't feel like that anything is going to happen to Dylan here. He seems like a typical narcissist. They tend not to hurt themselves. It is very unfortunate, very annoying, but
oh, do you think he inserts stuff into his balls, or is it only the other people?
No, what do you mean? We have photos of him.
Does he?
With inflated balls,
I
remember?
didn't see him with the balls. I saw everyone else with the balls. I'm not sure.
What? Hold on.
You don't have to show me. I'll take your word for it.
No, you don't remember the original photo. This is him.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I remember. Yeah,
he definitely did this to himself as well. So
Seems
he
too
at
much.
least puts his money where his balls are.
Balls are
in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is our first non-pedophile, criminally stupid idiot. I hope everybody enjoyed it, even though it's a little depressing. Rest in peace, Tank.
Yeah, and condolences to Tank's family and stuff. Very sad situation. It is genuinely like a sad situation because, again, mentally ill person gets taken advantage of, and now the people that are suffering still to this day are his family. So it's a very sad situation. But yeah, what a fucking weird. I'm just as speechless as the project is now, and I've gone through it already. I don't know what to say really. Sorry for showing you guys this.
It is a very weird story, but I hope you enjoyed it. Chet is saying this was a banger episode. Very depressing. Yeah, sorry. Sometimes people get away with bad things, man. It fucking sucks.
I'm hoping that eventually he'll face justice. If you want to do some good out there, like tip your local police department about him, maybe. Maybe all the police departments.
If you have any info, yeah. Don't swat him, but if you can help, then you should help.
I'm not talking about harassment. But like applying pressure to like police and stuff is probably the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I would think. Anyway, thank you for listening to this episode of Criminally Stupid. Patreon.com/theofficialpodcast for bonus episodes, early access to shows and stuff. We'll be working on making the Patreon the best place to be for the future. Got a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to do some game nights in the future. We're not sure on the time frame of these, but
teaser. Well, we're not sure about the time frame, but I have successfully nagged Jackson into trying Worms Armageddon with me.
Yep. So we'll be doing that. My plan for that game night is we'll post it immediately, basically. Well, not immediately, but we'll be posting to the Patreon first, so they'll get early access. But then we'll be putting up edited videos on the YouTube channel going forward as well. Not right now though. This will probably be in a month's time, just so that we can get on top of everything. But yeah, that's a plan for the future. All right. That's going to do it. Thank you very much for watching the show. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Stay stupid.
Stay stupid, but don't do silicone.
And yeah, stay stupid, but don't do criminal actions to your testicles. Bye.